Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Planet Film Network. I am one of your hosts, Sean Monk.
And I'm your host, TJ Cornwell.
And tonight we are going to be just basically doing two things, but it's a lot of two things. We're going to be catching up on some news topics that are going around. We got Mission Impossible 8 set photos. These are just off the top of my head. Chalamet signs overall. He got the big cruise deal. Timothy Chalamet signed a huge deal with Warner Brothers. Is the old Star Studio system back? Some say yes. I don't know. And then we're going to be going through a lot of what we've been watching. Probably some movies, probably some shows. And then we're just going to be kind of doing another trailer-a-thon. I feel like now studios have settled into there's 3 big trailer weeks throughout the year. And then obviously there's trailers that come out all the time throughout the year. But I feel like we always get in this rhythm where every quarter there's a huge trailer dump. And I also want to talk about, when we talk about the trailers later, something we talked about way years ago on the beginnings of this podcast on the opposite end of Force Awakens. You always think about Force Awakens. That trailer came out 18 months before the movie came out. The Bad Boys trailer just dropped and it's coming out in 9 weeks. You know what I mean? We're totally on the other end of the spectrum now with trailers, whether it's TV or movie. Neither did I. Yeah. I figured it was August. I thought it was going to say August 15th or something. But no, we are so on the other side of the marketing. It's just getting shorter and shorter and shorter. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. But yeah, let's just go ahead and dive into it. And anybody watching, we got 5 people watching right now. Throw anything you want in the chat right now. We will discuss it. We will talk about it. We got Shelly in the chat. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you to everybody else joining us. TJ, where do you want to go first with this thing? Oh, of course, some Spider-Man 4 and Euphoria news. I forgot about that too.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about what we've been watching first. Right. So I'll start off. All right. So you said 13th is the last time we convened here. All right. So since then, I've watched for the first time Daredevil, Ben Affleck's Daredevil.
Oh.
Fun movie. Really goofy, I will say. Definitely, obviously, like the Daredevil we have now more. I'll tell you what, Colin Farrell. He's just chewing the scenery. He knows exactly what he's doing, what movie he's in. And he's playing it up as much as he can.
Let me get a paper.
Ben Affleck, I thought was a good Daredevil. Jennifer Gardner, good Elektra. And I'll say I had a good time. Not a great movie, but I'll say I was able to kind of just sit there and be like, you know what, it is what it is. I'm having fun. So that was fun. That was a good time.
Michael Clark Duncan is Kingpin.
That as well. He was also great. I actually did think he did a really good job as Kingpin.
Nice.
Next we have The Founder. I rewatched that. I don't know what it was. Saw TikToks of the clips, of this movie and Michael Keaton. What's one of his lines in this? That's one of the kind of where
franchise.
He's where he's kind of just or the he's playing it up.
Yeah, the famous contracts are like hearts. They're meant to be broken.
Yeah, I love him and oh my god, his name's escaping me.
Nick Offerman.
Nick Offerman, yeah, they're back and forth over the telephone throughout the movie is great.
Yeah.
So yeah, I rewatched that. It's still good. Maybe not as good as I remember it being, but I think it's still a good movie. Then that kind of went into Super Size Me, where it was that just played right after. And I've seen Super Size Me twice already. And I don't know, I always enjoy it. I know people nowadays, it seems like Morgan Spurlock gets a lot of hate for, I don't know what he did. I don't know if you've seen that at all, but
yeah. I know it's out there. I don't know, but
yeah, but I always enjoy this documentary. It might be the whole nostalgia factor of it that I watched this in health, and as many kids did, I'm sure. In
probably 6th grade,
probably middle school, honestly. Yeah. So I watched that. Then after that, Danielle and I watched Quiet on Set, which I don't think.
Okay.
Have you seen?
I actually have seen all of it.
Oh, you have?
I
Okay.
did, yeah.
What did you think? Like, what did you think? Like, did you think of as like me? I'm sure you grew up watching Nickelodeon, Disney
Hmm.
Channel, all that stuff. Did this like kind of put in a different perspective for you and make you feel differently about? I don't want to say your childhood, but like what entertained you as a kid?
I mean, here's what I'll say. I think, and for those who don't know, I want to say All Quiet on Set. But that's All Quiet on the Western Front. Quiet on Set is the kind of detailed documentary series by what is it called? Investigation Discovery, slash
Mhm.
it aired on Max, on the streaming service Max,
Yeah.
about Nickelodeon, and more acutely Dan Schneider, who's like the like mega, he's like the Greg Berlanti of Nickelodeon back in the day. He's one of these
Mhm.
Ryan Murphy, Greg Berlanti, Shonda Rhimes, like empire of shows type of guy. And this is what I'll say, and I definitely want to get your thoughts on it. Anybody who might have seen it watching, um, it definitely gave me that like, oh man, like
Yeah.
feeling, but also it's kind of stuff that like you'd like hear from time to time, like through
Uh-huh.
like the grapevine of like that, this guy Dan Schneider is kind of whatever. So I think more so than like dropping any huge information bombshell, I think there was definitely some emotional bombshells, a very big information bombshell of the very famous person that's in this that I'm sure we'll
Mhm.
talk more specifically about. Um, and other than that, I think it just like clarified and solidified some stuff that was just like kind of floating out there. And I think
Yeah.
more so than being this like bombshell documentary. And granted, we're like more chronically online than a lot of people out there. So like, some of my friends that watched it were really shocked by a lot of the stuff.
Mhm.
Whereas like, you kind of hear the stuff about like the shot from Zoe 101 and like all the feet stuff and like the little webisodes of Victorious and
Yeah.
stuff. It's all kind of stuff that I've heard
That stuff
of
was
and
always
saw.
like right, like always
Always weird.
around,
Yeah,
kind
it was
of. Yeah.
always kind of weird. I think that what this did is for people who kind of knew that stuff, it really put a nice, not nice, but it really put like a package
Yeah.
on it. And
Uh-huh.
then for people who just had no clue about any of it, I think this, rightfully so, is like a blow the doors off, like, oh my god, my childhood, like what the hell? Like for the people who really just
Yeah.
had no knowledge of it whatsoever. Um, but then again, I was kind of playing coy earlier, but the Drake Bell stuff really was what I
Yeah,
believe
that
that was
was
like mainly the third episode when
third
they
episode. It
what
was the whole third
yeah.
episode. That's like what the episode was,
Yeah,
yeah.
as soon as the second episode ended and it had that ramp up to him, I literally
Yeah.
turned to my roommate and I was like, okay, so episode 3 is going to be all about him, and then episode 4 is going to pivot back to Dan Schneider and be like a wrap up. And that's exactly what it is.
Mhm.
Although now, did you see that they're doing another
There's a
episode?
fifth
Yeah,
episode. Yeah. Out
very
of nowhere.
interesting.
It just was like,
Yeah, and they
yeah.
were like all new people, and it's like one more guy from all that, and I'm like, give
Oh,
me
really?
like,
Okay.
give me some big people, man. Like get
Yeah, I didn't know
Josh
if
in
it was
there.
gonna be like if it was gonna be like somebody who like didn't want to say anything before
Yeah.
and they saw the series and were like, oh, I want to say something now. Um, yeah, I was it was pretty shocking, I'd say, documentary. There were two kind of bigger moments that really stood out to me that were like they were just and I think a lot of people had the same reaction. We're like, what the
Yeah.
Um and what okay, tell me because me and Danielle had the same thought.
Hmm.
The Amanda Bynes character. Did you think that her last name was Taint? I always thought it was Tate.
I thought it was
Is
Tate
that just
too.
me?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I
Yeah.
thought. Me and Daniel were like, wait, because I don't know if it's the way she says it. She always, I swear, she says Tate. And then they brought
Hmm.
up what the name actually is. I was like, I never heard that in my life.
Yeah.
And then the whole like, obviously, like Drake going through that whole thing with Bryant Pack and all that stuff, and when he was like, oh yeah, he was like pen pals in prison with John Wayne Gacy. I was like,
Like what the
nobody was
fuck?
like, wait a minute, maybe this
Literally.
guy's bad news. Like,
Literally.
what? that was like the most shell shocking thing to me. I was like, if you can see like something like obviously his dad saw it, and
Yeah.
he talks about it like extensively in this, but
Yeah, that was
like if you
like the
can see
most gutting part. Yeah.
yeah,
Was his
like if you
dad.
can't see something like this from a mile away, if the guy is pen pals with John Wayne Gacy, then I don't know what the fuck to tell you. Like it was just like
Well, it's
so
like
like just crazy.
there's honestly some stories
Yeah.
that I've seen from like podcasts and stuff. Hang on, before I do that, I actually had a question that I can't remember what it
Yeah.
was, but um there's some stories like what's her name? Oh man, I'm forgetting her name right now, but the girl who played Nicole on Zoe 101 who was in the documentary.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um she told that famous story a couple months ago, maybe a year ago at this point, about Britney and Jamie Lee Spears like basically like cornering her on set basically, and that was like the
Hmm.
last day that she was on set. Um I will say stuff like that I was surprised wasn't in there, and that's the kind of stuff that
Hmm.
like I this is like going to be hard to say, but like there was a part of me that was sitting there, and I want to know. This is the question I couldn't remember. Um, if you or even Danielle felt this at all, it it felt like there was like a lot of information there of like stuff that did happen and stuff that like really like affected these people and stuff. But I did feel like I would say like 30 to maybe even like 40% of this documentary was when like they would bring in those two like journalist ladies, and
Hmm.
they were doing kind of like they were like selling it. You know what I mean? They were like, and then and that kid
Yeah.
was Drake. And it's like that was kind of overdoing it for. I feel like they kind of
Yeah.
overbaked that stuff, and I felt like there were actually Drake Bell. Even I saw a TikTok with him. He did like an episode of his podcast, and they said, "Was there anything that you thought they should have gone into more?" And he came right out and said exactly what I was thinking. He said, like the no residuals thing. I wish that they had like touched on that,
Oh.
but I
Yeah, I didn't even
feel
know that.
like it was just so focused on like kind of circling everything back to Dan Schneider that like the things that weren't looped back to him, like the Britney Spears and Jamie Lynn Spears stuff that doesn't loop back to Dan Schneider, they just like didn't include. And I get that Dan Schneider is like kind of the this is like kind of an awful way to talk about this, but like it's kind of like the selling point is like, hey, we're finally gonna
Yeah.
bring all this together and do a Dan Schneider documentary. Where I actually think that like you could have done a much broader Nickelodeon documentary, just and you could have,
Right.
and I think you could even have done more episodes or the same episodes, but cut down on the kind of sensationalism. Again, I'm not saying the sensationalism that came from the real people involved. I'm just saying those reporters and bloggers that they would also interview that just kind of were like, to be honest, to me they just it just kind of felt like they were like sensationalizing it, just for like
Hmm.
dramatic effect and to like end an
Yeah.
episode on a dramatic note. Um, so as a criticism of the documentary itself, I actually do wish it went a little deeper into some of these other territories that weren't so involved with Dan Schneider. Because I just think there's even more bad stuff in Nickelodeon that frankly could have been addressed in this as well. But again, I do get that the whole point was kind of to tie everything back to Dan Schneider. Um, but I guess my question is, did you find that at all? Did you feel that at all, or were you just kind of happy with what they gave us and
Yeah.
everything?
No, there was I wouldn't say I found that at all. One thing that did kind of and, this isn't to uh shame this isn't to like kind of say like what's the word like poo poo anybody's experiences or anything. That's the
Hmm.
best word I could go with. But there was like some points where it was like they would show something and they'd be like, well, it looks like this. And in my head, I'm like, I can't make that jump. There's just some of those things where, and that's not to me to like shame anybody's like, those experiences are those experiences. And I'm
Yeah.
not going to like be like, you didn't experience that because it doesn't look like that. Or why you shouldn't think of it like that. But like, there were just like those tiny little things that they would refer to. And if they didn't explain it in that way, I'd be like, I'm not thinking that. I'm just thinking
Yeah.
it's some blah, blah, blah. Um,
Real quick, Johnny Dome in the chat didn't watch
yeah.
Bad Boys for Life, and maybe not this one because I like the first two so much. First of all, thank you for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe for sure.
Yeah,
But Johnny
yeah,
Dome,
those fun. That's fun.
did you watch the Quiet on Set documentary? The Nickelodeon Dan Schneider documentary? Let us know. And then Michelle in chat too says, as a mom of '90s kids, Quiet on the Set was upsetting. I can't believe that I didn't pay more attention to the innuendos on these shows, and sadly wasn't shocked about some of the behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of that writing stuff was crazy.
Oh
With
yeah,
those
like the
two
actual
writers.
writers' room. Yeah, that stuff
Yeah.
was like, that's like the real dark stuff. Like that's like
Mhm.
how much more of that was going on. And then like they showed the writers' room, and like there was that wall of alcohol, like
Yeah.
in the Succession writers' room. That's like excessive
Yeah.
to shouldn't be allowed on a kids show. Like what are you
Yeah.
doing,
And then like again,
man?
sorry, just to go
No,
back
you're
to like
go for it.
Brian Peck did all this stuff. He went to jail or he went to prison, I think, for 16 months, got out and went to
16
Disney
months.
Channel.
I know.
It's like what
What
are we doing on these sets? Who are hiring these people?
I know.
And how are they being allowed to get away with this?
Mhm.
It was crazy. It did kind of, I wasn't there. There was, I think the first episode was a lot of all that, which I
Yeah.
think that was kind of before me a little
Mhm.
bit. But all the other stuff with like iCarly, Zoe 101, those shows really kind of hit home. And I was like, and Drake and Josh, obviously.
Mhm.
And yeah, it made me like kind of sad. I was like, damn, like, and I think I saw a tweet, or maybe you sent it to me or something, where somebody was like, our best moments of our childhood were like their worst. And it's
Oh
like,
yeah.
you just,
Yeah,
it's terrible.
that stuff, it's just like, I don't know, man. Yeah, like I remember what's it called? I would watch like my first, I watched it all the time, was the
Mhm.
Amanda Show. Like, so I
Yeah.
watched all that, and I watched like kind of the tail end of all that, and then they would do reruns on Nick at Night. Um or maybe it wasn't even, maybe it was even pre Nick at Night. It might have just been, later in the night they would do reruns.
Mhm.
But like Amanda Show with like the whole like Pickle Boy stuff, or like, or maybe it was all that had Pickle Boy, but I think it was the Amanda Show that had that. Like when they made that connection and said that Brian Peck is Pickle Boy, I had like the cat that's like
Yeah.
the prophecy is true. I was like everything like linked in my mind, and I went, I know that face.
Mhm.
I was like, I used to watch that face when I was a kid. Like that's crazy.
Yeah.
And then just like a little thing too, like all the stuff that like after what was happening to Drake was happening, like the whole, you got to get them to make me the dad on the show. Like
Yeah.
what the fuck are you
Yeah.
talking about? That
We
stuff
didn't
was
even
crazy.
touch on the production assistant from
Oh,
just
Jason
all the
Handy.
shows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Like
was, yeah,
that shit was crazy too.
literally.
Just I-
Yeah, the
yeah,
bags of stuff and like that they found,
yeah.
like, and again,
Yeah.
that's
That it
stuff
was
that like you
yeah.
can't tie to Dan Schneider, but it's just like, it's the fact that like
It's happening
people
on
were
his
on
watch.
these people were on his watch,
Yeah.
on his sets, and the fact that he cultivated, through his jokes and through his humor, he
Mhm.
cultivated an atmosphere that if someone like that were in it, would lead them to think they can get away with anything. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? And it's like, if somebody like that, if a horrible, horrible criminal like that got into a job like that, but the boss on the show was like, hey, we don't fuck around with the kid. Like, when it comes to
Mhm.
the child talent, like, you need to, like, lock your shit down and, like, take care of these kids. That wasn't happening under Dan Schneider. And then there's other stories that wasn't happening anywhere across Nickelodeon. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And it's like that's just crazy, and I would love to find out more um about other networks. Like,
Mhm.
where's this thing on Disney? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I would love to know, maybe there wasn't. I know there's a lot of those, like, and also, to be fair too, with Nickelodeon, I know the Ned's Declassified crew,
Oh yeah.
which was
Uh-huh.
about as carved out and away from Dan Schneider as you could get. I mean, Dan Schneider had nothing to do with that show at all.
Oh really?
Yeah, no, that was a
Yeah.
totally different creator, totally different. That was carved more out of, I'm forgetting his name, but that was more carved out of like the Fairly Odd Parents creator, and it kind
Mhm.
of stemmed from that stuff more so than anything like Dan Schneider. So like they came out and they said like we did not have anything, and I know they're in hot water this week too because like that podcast they were kind of like making light of the situation before they had
Yeah.
actually seen the documentary, which like
Oh.
is not a crime, but like
Well, there
it's
was
just
like that
stupid.
TikTok live thing or something, or
Yeah,
something about.
yeah. I
Yeah,
think that was it. That
that's
they were like people started like commenting on their TikTok live like, "Oh my god, have you seen this stuff?" And they were
yeah,
like,
yeah,
they hadn't seen it, and they were like, "We didn't what? Like we didn't have
yeah.
any of that going on our set. Like holy shit!" And like to be fair to them, none of that was happening on their set. The people that were on the set with Drake Bell didn't even know what was going on.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So it's like you can't be like when you were 13 you should have known. Like how are you gonna know? You know what I mean? But I would love I hope that fifth episode isn't just more like, you know, oh, this shot kind of looks like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I hope that it's like a little more like retrospective or something like that. And I
yeah,
genuinely I would also like to know, I know we're spending a lot of time on this, but you know,
yeah. We are. Sorry.
it's a big topic. I mean, it's a big topic in the world right now. I mean, this
Yeah.
I said to my friend at work, I'm excited to see Dan Murrell's streaming show because I want to know what the numbers that this thing did. I mean, it's on my Google
Mm-hmm.
TV homepage. It's the splash page on Max. It's like the number one
Mm-hmm.
thing on the cover of Max right now when you open it. Um, and obviously everyone in America at least is talking about it. So it's like I want to know really how many people have seen this. And
Mm-hmm.
I also the last thing I want to say is why is it that so many people after this come out and go, I had no idea that this was happening. Um, you know, got to take time to think about it. Like I'm thinking about like Josh Peck. Like why are there so many of these big Nick people who like what's the story on were they asked to be in the documentary and said no, or were they just never asked at all?
Mm-hmm.
Were they never asked because that wasn't their experience and it could have ruined the angle that the documentary was going to? You know what I mean? Like, so I have a lot of those questions. And I know that's just kind of like because I'm kind of you know, not contrarian, but like I want to get all my bases covered. You know what I mean? So I'm like, why?
Right.
How
Yeah.
come all these people weren't in the documentary? Is it that they didn't want to,
Mm-hmm.
or they weren't even asked? So I would love just more of this to get other people's perspectives and stuff. But definitely a harrowing kind of watch. Pretty dour stuff.
Yeah.
And Johnny Dome in the chat actually wonder if newer shows he did was affected like Thundermans and Henry Danger. Towards the last episode, they actually do get into his newer shows, including Thundermans and Henry Danger. They do actually mention both of those shows and that he
Mm-hmm.
was, I believe Henry Danger was the one that they said that he was like banned from the
Or
set, that he had to
yeah.
stay in his office and could write, but he couldn't be near the talent or anything like that. And then I think that that Henry Danger and Thundermans were the shows that were on when they fired him. So
Mm-hmm.
they actually do. So Johnny Dome, if you're gonna check out the documentary, they actually do go all the way up to those newer shows that I never watched. You know, I never.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
after us.
yeah. The very last thing that I watched was like some of Sam and Cat, like after Victorious
Mm-hmm.
ended. That was like the very last
Yeah.
thing I watched. All right. Anything
Four more
else? Yeah,
things. I'm
yeah.
almost
Go,
done.
go.
I watched Blue Velvet for the first time.
Oh wow,
Really enjoyed it. Or I shouldn't say enjoyed it. I guess liked
it
it as
was
much as
really
I could.
interesting. Yeah.
I go back and forth David Lynch because like I like Blue Velvet. I like Mulholland Drive. I like the first season of Twin Peaks, but then I don't like the second season, and I didn't like Eraserhead that much. So I go back and forth. I kind of have a love-hate relationship. But Blue Velvet was really good. Really liked Kyle MacLachlan, of course, and Laura Dern in it, as well as Dennis Hopper and Isabella Rossellini were all great. Next, after that, I don't know if we can go through this maybe really quick when we get it onto your watching. But Ghostbusters, watch that. That's all I'll say.
Right.
Fahrenheit 9/11, the
Mhm.
Michael Moore documentary I had never seen.
Oh, nice.
So that documentary, and then I watched the 2000s, so like the CNN kind of mini series, that they do. I could have sworn they took them off of Max a while ago, but
They
it seems
added
like
them
they're all
back.
back
Yeah.
now.
Remember a
Yeah.
couple months ago I watched the one on Vietnam. And I was like
Okay.
that I was like at least some of them are back. Or not
Yeah.
Vietnam, sorry. It was just on the 60s. It was just the
The
60s one.
60s, yeah.
That's what it was.
But yeah, really enjoyed that as well. And then I got Hogwarts Legacy, but I haven't played it yet. That's where I'm at.
Well, there you go. Let me know in about 4 months when you finish. Let me know what decision you make with Sebastian.
Okay.
All right. Let us see here. Okay, so I have definitely been watching a good amount of stuff. I'm only going to dedicate, specific time to a couple of these. Number one being, I think that Love Lies Bleeding is maybe the second best movie that I've seen this year, and maybe the second best movie that has come out this year. I just absolutely, and for those who don't know, this is the A24 movie, directed by the woman who just did Saint Maud, and I'm going to tell you who that is in just 1 second. Rose Glass.
Rose Glass.
That's what it is. Yeah, Rose Glass. She did a fantastic job. She is, I believe, Irish or maybe something like that, or Scottish or something, but basically not American. And she said that it was very interesting to her to like explore this kind of 80s suburban kind of like bodybuilding, drug use underbelly of like this like I think it's New Mexico, but just this like very seedy area and time in U.S. history, and in like the kind of crime history of this country and stuff that doesn't really happen that much more anymore, like steroids, overuse of steroids, everything like that. That like kind of the more political angle of what this movie gets into, but on its basis, it is a like really messed up love story between Kristen Stewart and Katie O'Brien, and then Dave Franco plays.
Franco.
Yeah, Dave Franco's really good in it. He plays Kristen Stewart's brother-in-law, who is married to Jenna Malone, who is also really good in the movie, and then their father is played by Ed Harris. Everyone is so good in this movie, and the movie itself is just made so well. I mean, the interesting choices, the skilled choices, everything that's on display here is phenomenal. And if you thought that Katie O'Brien was good in The Mandalorian, this is like a tour de force, like coming out, no pun intended, performance. I mean, she is just fantastic in this, and the levels and things that this movie asks Katie O'Brien to do and kind of hold on her shoulders, and carry the movie for certain times. She just pulls it off. She pulls every aspect that's asked of her perfectly, in the best ways possible, and just really, really good. I just loved it. I don't even really want to spend much more time on it. It's such a good movie. One of my favorite A24 movies in a long time, maybe ever. And I'm just seeing in my Letterboxd history that I actually watched Bottoms and Love Lies Bleeding back to back. So big, and then Drive Away Dolls. Big year for lesbians so far. Keep it coming. Great movies. Next, I rewatched The Prestige. Then I watched, still amazing. Then I watched The American Society of Magical Negroes. Man, that was like, I was hearing some rough stuff about that movie, but I was hoping that it would be like an enjoyable rough movie.
Yeah.
No such luck. Dead, boring. Oh my God, like I was like I would rather claw my eyes out than watch it again.
Jeez.
Like, and I like Justice Smith. That was part of the reason that I was like, all right, I'll give this a go. I like Justice Smith. Man, it was like a bad slam poetry session, the movie. And just really the exact opposite of Love Lies Bleeding. Like really uninspired, really kind of bland choices over and over and over again. Like when they could have gone interesting, just not. Then I rewatched Con Air. I don't even know what to say. That movie's fantastic. It's better every time I see it. Then I watched for the very first time Glengarry Glen Ross, which is a movie that has been on my mental watch list for the longest time. Had an afternoon. I was just going on Just Watch, and I was like, all right, sometimes I'll just throw in stuff from my mental watch list that I'll just throw it into Just Watch and be like, is it available right now? And Glengarry
Uh-huh.
Glen Ross was on Netflix, and I went, all right, let's go, we're doing it. Um, Absolutely fantastic. I'm not going to go into everything or everyone that's in it, but huge standouts. I mean, obviously Jack Lemmon, one of his final performances, just like maybe the best I've ever seen him in his career. And this is coming from a kid who like would watch The Apartment and Some Like It Hot like on repeat over and over again.
Yeah.
And Jack Lemmon is just, and I also like the what is it? The Grumpy Old Men. I love all that stuff with Jack Lemmon, but this is really just like a real performance, not like a comedic performance from him, a real dramatic, multi-layered performance. And Al Pacino's fantastic too. Jonathan Pryce, Ed Harris again, really really good. Really enjoyed that movie. Ton of great people in that. Then I did watch Ghostbusters, which we can circle back to. And then I watched Roadhouse, which I'll
Roadhouse.
circle. Well, did
Yeah.
you watch
Okay.
Roadhouse?
No, I didn't. I've never seen the original either, so
Okay. I mean, I'll
yeah.
go into it for quickly here. I mean, I enjoyed 2024's Roadhouse, I would say.
Okay.
I think it's got one of the current loves of my life from Shrinking, whose name Jessica Williams. I just
Mhm.
love everything that she's in. This is her right here. She is
Oh
very
yeah.
very good. She plays the bar owner. I just love like anything that she's in. So she really got me hyped up for it too, knowing that she was in it, and obviously I love Jake Gyllenhaal. Um, it it was like enjoyable, but man, Conor McGregor like literally sunk the entire movie for me.
Yeah.
It were like really really bad, like really bad, like constantly walking into like scenes, just being like, oh, what's going on here? Like literally somebody said that he's doing a terrible like Terminator impression.
Yeah.
And that's really like what it feels
Terminator
like.
impression? Is that
Yeah,
what
it's
you just said?
like basically, yeah, like a bad Irish Terminator impression.
Yeah.
And I felt that. I mean, that's really what that is. They
Hold on
also
one
like,
second.
okay. I'll just keep saying they also gave like Post Malone, um who has acted in some other stuff that I thought was pretty good, or that he was pretty decent in. But they like gave him like a character poster in this movie, and he's in like the first 5 minutes, and then he's just gone. So that was kind of a weird thing, but I thought that Jake Gyllenhaal was good. Daniela Melker, who plays Ratcatcher 2, and she was also in Guardians 3.
Mhm.
She's really good in this. Oh, and she was also in Fast X. So she's been in a couple of franchises, but mainly Ratcatcher 2 and the Suicide Squad. She was really good. She plays the love interest, and I liked their chemistry and their dynamic and everything. Billy Magnuson is in it. I don't know. I like Billy Magnuson, whether it's like something stupid like Aladdin or something where he's actually like really menacing in like No Time to Die. Um, I I just thought like I was like, this is not the guy that is in No Time to Die. That's like I was just like, this is
Well, I'm gonna kill this spider.
okay, no problem. I just was really I really like Billy Magnuson, and I was very disappointed in I don't even know if it was how they used him or if it was just his performance choice. But I'm like, man, this guy was like holding his own with Daniel Craig and Jeffrey Wright in No Time to Die, and like giving a really good performance. And this movie, he just was not. I did not buy him as the villain at all. Or I guess I did. I was not intimidated by him as the villain. Maybe that's the word I'm looking for. Um, he's dealing with a spider, I guess, over there. But yeah, in chat, did any of you guys watch Roadhouse? What are your thoughts on a Roadhouse remake in general? Just going through some other things here. I watched Kong Skull Island again in anticipation. It's GXK week. It's GXK week, which is huge. And then I watched Ocean's 13, which is just one of my favorite movies. I watch Ocean's 13 probably 2 times a year, I would say, probably, maybe even more. I've already watched it this year, so probably gonna watch it again. Just Al Pacino in that movie, George Clooney, but really Al Pacino is just like dynamite in that movie, and I just love that whole group that gets together. And then right after that, I watched Ocean's 8, which I had not seen since it came out. And it was better than I kind of remember it being. I thought it definitely pales in comparison to some of the other movies, but I thought it was fine. I thought it was like fun. And then
Yeah.
I watched Hugo, which was yesterday.
Hugo.
Just because I was
Is that underrated?
absolutely. I texted my friends at work, our group chat. I said Hugo maybe top 3 contender for most underrated Scorsese. That's what I said.
Mm.
And then circling back, because I just went through everything else while you were doing that, but there are 2. Well, one is Ghostbusters that we can talk about. I'll let you open that up in a second. But I watched Age of Innocence for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever seen that?
Never seen that. No,
Okay.
I never seen that.
So I was putting it off and putting it off and putting it off because I borrowed it from my friend, and then eventually we just the stars aligned, and there was a screening at a local theater here, and I was able to see it.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was able to see it in theaters, and man, I think that Daniel Day-Lewis guy's really got the stuff. I was like, man, he is. That movie is real good. And the fact that Marty went straight from Goodfellas to Casino, that's got to be one of the best 3 movie runs that any director has ever done. And that's saying a lot when you're talking about Martin Scorsese. But just the absolute pendulum swing from Goodfellas to Age of Innocence back to Casino is just truly showing his mastery of film. And honestly, over this past year, Chris Nolan has really put up a great fight with Oppenheimer. But over this past year, I think I've really come to accept that, at least for me, I think that Martin Scorsese is the best to ever do it. And that's something that I always liked his movies, but over COVID, and really just the last couple of years, because we're well out of COVID at this point, but just like since 2020, these last 4 years, I've really opened myself up more to pushing further out from the kind of core of his filmography. And I have very rarely been disappointed. And like I said, this is coming from a guy who does, I will say, is not a fan of Killers of the Flower Moon. But man, I just think he proves time and time again that I think he is probably the best to ever do it. And then maybe Spielberg, is the one to give him a run for his money. But even Spielberg, it's, that's, what is that? Probably a 60% batting average. Marty's probably closer to like 80 or 90. But man, Age of Innocence is just such a beautifully constructed film, a beautiful looking movie. What it has to say about life, and it takes place in the 1870s. And just how he translates that to today, meaning the 90s when he made it, and today meaning today. I mean, it's a timeless movie, that takes place 120 years before it was made, and it's now 150 years, after when it's set, and it's still just as informative, prescient, and kind of relatable to today, and just how life, despite your best intentions, life can kind of slip away from you, slip out of your control. And I think that honestly, there's a lot of good stuff in there that if you look at it through the guise of this is him talking about love, but more importantly, I think it's him talking about his love of filmmaking and how the conventions that he was brought up in feel binding to him. And how he uses filmmaking to kind of set himself free. And that's maybe the most pretentious thing I've ever said on this podcast in the entire 4 years that we've been doing it. But man, by the way, we have not said this at all. But this week is the 4-year anniversary of us doing this show.
Oh, wow.
Can you believe that?
That's correct.
Yeah. Well, actually, correction, not the 4th. It is the 4th anniversary of us starting this channel. So we did. I mean, when we were doing gaming stuff and stuff like that. But that's just crazy. But yeah, man, Age of Innocence really sung for me. And Johnny Dome and anyone else watching, come back next week. We might be talking a little more Martin Scorsese, a little more in depth with a fun little game that I think we're gonna be doing about Scorsese next week. But enough games. Let's get to TJ's favorite movie of the year, and that is Ghostbusters 4, 5, The Frozen Empire.
Yeah, I've never seen the 2016 one, so to me it's 4, I guess. Listen, we don't have to spend all day on this. I just wanted to get your thoughts on the movie and get my thoughts out there. I just didn't like this movie. I just didn't like it. Ghostbusters Frozen Empire just did not vibe with me, unfortunately. And I think it was probably started when, right at the beginning, when we're chasing the Hell's Kitchen blue dragon thing across the city, and Big McKenna Grace says, "It's time to go bust a ghost."
Yeah.
And I think that's when they lost me.
Oh, and man, that
everything
was like
from that point on,
in, man.
Everything from that point on, I didn't feel anything. I didn't really laugh all that much. There was a few jokes here and there that I thought were good, and I know why Paul Rudd's there. He's obviously there for the dad connection. Him and McKenna Grace have that connection that they're trying to build on. But he's also there for the comedic effect. And I just didn't really laugh all that much at him. Finn Wolfhard, I don't know why he's in this movie, why he's in this one or the last one. He's not really doing anything. They kind of send him on this small little thing to go chase Slimer throughout the firehouse. And he's in the movie, he's there. And that's about it. That's all I can say about him. It all brings it all around to towards the end where Slimer pops out and he goes, "Hey, I know that guy," and that's about it. Yeah,
for the 8th time in the movie.
That's about it. The old guys, they were okay. Dan Aykroyd was fun. He felt like he was having a good time. Don't know why Bill Murray's in this movie other than the fact that he was an original Ghostbuster.
Is it just me, or Bill Murray was kind of doing Garfield voice in this movie, right? He was kind of doing Garfield in this movie.
Why did he have sunglasses on in the firehouse?
Man, your reaction in live in real time. You went.
Yeah, it's like, why is he wearing sunglasses?
Yeah.
I don't know why he was in this movie. I forget the other actor's name. It's
Ernie Hudson.
Ernie Hudson. Yeah, sorry. I thought he was fine.
I thought he was 40. He's 80.
But they didn't him and I thought Dan Aykroyd again was kind of the better part of the movie. He just seemed like he was having a good time. He's a fun guy.
And they actually gave him stuff to do.
Right. Kumail was kind of, again, at some points he was funny. The whole Fire Master thing I didn't really buy into all that much. Spoiler alert for this movie. The whole thing oh, you're a Fire Master. I think his ancestors were Fire Masters or something. It's oh, we gotta teach him how to do the thing. Basically, just a firebender. That's basically all it is from Avatar. But then at one point, he bends a freaking beam, one of the pack beams.
Yeah.
I'm so can he bend anything, or is it can he just do fire? I don't know. I was very confused.
Or is it more of an energy thing? Yeah.
Yeah, energy thing. The villain was scary. I will say that.
For the 4 minutes that he was in it,
I was cowering. After from any scene in the movie, that was scary. I was generally scared, but again, I am very easy to scare, so take from that what you will. And yeah, I just didn't vibe with it from, like you said, 6 minutes in. I didn't connect emotionally. The whole kind of ghost storyline with McKenna Grace and the other girl, I thought it was kind of written very clunky as well. I was kind of are they trying to be friends, or are they more than friends? Because at first I was oh, maybe that she's finding a new friend, finding a friend. It's she's kind of insulated to the firehouse, and
are you talking about
her
Phoebe
family
and
around
the ghost?
Phoebe, yeah,
Okay,
and the ghost.
Okay. Yeah.
And I'm oh, maybe Phoebe, she's trying to branch out and find a new friend. But then the way she was kind of talking to her, and she was kind of very awkward and all that kind of stuff when she was talking to the ghost, I was oh, maybe it's like a I have feelings for you type thing. And then she's like, let me become a ghost, and I've known you for 2 days, and I'll I don't even know what the word is, like separate my spirit from my
Yeah.
body. Like it was just all rushed and a little bit much, and it's just something I didn't buy into. Um, and yeah, I don't know. At the end of the movie, I was like, I don't know. And again, I didn't like Afterlife either, really. I liked it a little bit more, and I think the only constant that I've liked for the two movies, even though I didn't buy into a relationship or anything like that, I liked McKenna Grace's character.
Yeah.
Like I liked her acting in these movies, and that's about it. Um, but yeah. Oh, the other thing. And the mayor takes away all their. He's like, "We're gonna condemn the firehouse. We took all your packs." And then next scene, Paul Rudd walks in the firehouse. They took all our stuff. Yeah, they literally just. He literally said that to you. He literally said that to you 2 seconds ago. Like, what are we doing?
Um, I I liked it. I thought it was fun. I thought it was a fun movie. Now I will say I have seen 2016's. I actually have not seen Afterlife.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I
Okay.
just went. I just wanted to see Ghostbusters, just because I feel like Afterlife came out at like a weird time, uh, in the pandemic, or I think I was just busy or
Mhm.
something. For whatever reason I just never got to see it. Um, but I've always liked McKenna Grace like as an actress.
Mhm.
Um, and I know that people said that Afterlife was, pretty good, pretty,
Yeah.
a lot of people say, well, better, it's better than the 2016 one. That's what everybody says.
Yeah.
Um, I agree with a lot of what you said. But for me, I just thought it was like, I thought it was I'll give you my log line here so we keep it short. I thought it was
Mhm.
an overstuffed, underbaked, fun family adventure movie
Mhm.
with some of the characters and some of the stuff that I remember from as being a kid. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I think that's about it as what I can say. I will say in chat, I gotta harshly disagree here. Michelle in chat says, but I don't get how
Yeah.
they have Ernie Hudson's character almost telling everyone what to do just because he has money. He wasn't even an original Ghostbuster. He was added in the first film. I will say
Oh, wait, hey.
he was added after they were ghostbusting for like 2 weeks because they
Yeah.
needed more help. I think that
Yeah.
qualifies him. And to be quite honest and quite harsh, that does mean that he has been a Ghostbuster longer than Egon Spangler was, because
Mhm.
he's gone. Um, but no, I actually thought that Dan Aykroyd and Ernie Hudson, um, were good because they were given
Mhm.
stuff to do. And I liked the fact that Winston was kind of the one that was continuing to develop all this Ghostbusters tech and stuff, and kind of picking up where Egon left off and going, no,
Mhm.
we gotta, kind of keep researching this stuff and everything. Again, I don't really know what backstory they set up for him, or kind of filled in that gap with him in Afterlife. I know that obviously the three of them are in Afterlife, but I don't really know what they gave to Winston in that movie. So, but in terms of this development, I liked that idea that he was, kind of underground, secretly continuing Ghostbusters work, while like the kind of public facing team was Paul Rudd and Carrie Coon and all them. I really
Yeah.
like Carrie Coon in it too. I thought that her and Paul Rudd do have genuine good chemistry. Um, and yeah, Finn Wolfhard is like, his all his scenes could have been like shorts. It could have been Slimer shorts on like
Yeah,
Paramount
you're right.
Plus.
Yeah.
Like it
Uh-huh.
really could
Yep.
be. Um, uh, yeah, but I mean, again, I mean, he's the son in the main family. Like, you can't
Mhm.
really like not have him in it. But man, they like Dan Aykroyd and Ernie Hudson have stuff to do in this movie. They have about 200 times more stuff to do in this movie than Finn Wolfhard does.
Yeah.
Like, and
Or Bill
that's saying a
Murray.
lot. Yeah, or Patton Oswalt or Camille
Or yeah,
Nanjiani.
don't know Patton
Um,
Oswalt's even in
yeah,
this
Patton
movie.
Oswalt is lit. Might as well be like a walk-on cameo. Like he,
Yeah.
like don't get me wrong, like Patton Oswalt is a good, if you need like a guy to dump exposition in your movie, like you can't really ask for much better than like Patton Oswalt. Like he sells that like librarian guy who's like, this stuff is so cool, you know, like he really sold that. And I liked the little animations that they did and stuff. It
Yeah.
felt like certain things, like they really put the time and attention into it, but just overall, it definitely also felt too long. It felt like it really
Many
dragged for
characters.
me.
Yeah.
And honestly, like as much as I like McKenna Grace in it, I got to agree with you that the whole ghost storyline, like that's like 20 minutes that you could have pulled from that. Like
Yeah.
you're setting up that like she's her friend, but then it's like she's trying to
Like,
get her unfinished business complete on Earth, and it's like, did we ever even set up in the Ghostbusters universe about unfinished business? Like, is that something I'm just forgetting?
I'm not a
This is
not a Ghostbusters
Ghostbusters, not
historian. Yeah.
Patrick Swayze's
Yeah.
Ghost.
Did you? One other thing. Did you buy? That's actually the movie I was thinking of while watching this movie. I've never even seen it, but I know of like, oh, it's like doesn't it?
Whoopi
She falls in
Goldberg.
love with a ghost or something.
Yeah.
Did you? What did you think of the whole kind of like? After the first chase and we're chasing the dragon, it's like you're too young, you're 15, you gotta be, or 16 or whatever, you gotta be 18 to work in New York City or whatever. I was like, she's the best Ghostbuster out of the four of you. Like, what are we
Yeah.
doing? Like,
Yeah,
who
I mean,
cares?
honestly, yeah, that was kind of weird, but also a thread that, to my knowledge, they just dropped was like the
I-
whole her being mad at her mom. Like the whole, I thought that was interesting that she was like, you aren't even smart. Why are you even in this family? Like, you're not even a real Spangler. Like, you're dumb.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, that's something I've never seen in a movie
Yeah.
like this before. Like, this kid is just like really resentful of her mom because her mom got to spend quality time with her grandfather that like she never got. Like, and again, I haven't seen Afterlife, so I'm just taking that in like subtext. I'm like, that she's clearly mad because she's like, you just are a Ghostbuster because like you lucked into it. I'm the one like with the brain that's like actually like trying to like help us out here. I thought that was interesting, and they gave it 2 scenes and then just dropped it. And then at the end she was like, I'll still always be your mom. And I'm like, well, yeah, was that ever in question? Like, she was mad at you.
Yeah.
Resolve that. And they just never did. So
Carrie Coon definitely had way more to do in
Afterlife. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, I gotta say, I did enjoy it. I thought it was, like I said, a fun family action movie. But it did feel it could have been shorter, but also I wanted more. You know what I mean? It's one of those movies that it's like it's kind of both. Kind of reminded me of the Marvels. I'm somebody who I liked the Marvels, but it was like, oh, you're giving me a lot of this, and it's like I'm not into that so much. But this other stuff that you're really not dedicating a lot of time to, that's some good stuff. Like that's kind of how I felt about both these movies, and I gave them both 3 stars, which means I liked it. But
I'll just never forgive these movies for naming a character podcast. I just can't. I can't get over that.
yeah,
Podcast. Give him a name, for Christ's sake. I mean, if you're not going to give him much to do in the movie, at least give him a name.
yeah. Oh, real quick before we move on to the trailers. Last thing I'll say, that scene with Winston and Ray with Dan Aykroyd and Ernie Hudson, I really liked that scene in the staircase after the library where
Golden Years.
Where she Phoebe almost genuinely gets really hurt, and Winston's like, listen, man, like we're supposed to be like retired. You could have gotten these kids genuinely hurt. And like I feel like Dan Aykroyd and Ernie Hudson like kind of sold the shit out of that scene. I was like, okay, I believe that the 2 guys I'm seeing argue right here are the same 2 guys from the first 2 movies. Like that's what I felt. And I thought they were both right. The whole like, these are supposed to be our golden years. We got to enjoy them. And the fact that Ray threw it right back to him and said, Winston, and honestly, to Michelle's comment in the chat here, with Ernie Hudson's character telling everyone what to do, Ray throws it back to Winston and says, this is how I want to spend my golden years. Like, you're on your path, I'm on mine, Like,
Yeah, right.
yes, I have to be more safe. You're totally right that I endangered them and I rushed into this. But you also got to understand, man, like this is what my life is. This is what's important to me. Like if I can't do this, I don't know what I want to do. I don't know if I want to do anything. And damn, I got to say, I thought that Dan Aykroyd like was great in that
Mhm.
scene. It was about 2 minutes of a 2 hour movie. But I thought that scene was
Yeah.
really good. That was the last thing. I just really wanted to hit that scene.
Real quick, last thing I'll say.
No, go
Sorry. How
for it.
about that lion? The lion that apparently like was so precious to these young kids, and they were
Yeah.
like, "Oh, this is the reason the kids want to come to the library. And they like to see the lions walking up the steps or whatever." And then McKenna Grace's character destroys the lion as she's being attacked by it because it's possessed by this ghost. And by the way, the cops like arrest her for protecting herself, which makes absolutely no sense. And then they're like, "You destroyed this lion. It's going to take years and years to rebuild it." Literally, final scene of the movie. Oh, there's that lion. Oh, you know.
Yeah.
But it's just those little things where it's like you can just kind of be like, whatever, in the moment. But as they like start to build and it's like one thing after another, it's just like it's hard for me to be like get over that. Where
Yeah.
it's like all these little things. It's like
Another thing too that I heard somebody say in a review, or maybe it was a tweet, they were like,
yeah.
you see the library ghost again for the first movie, and they were like,
Yeah. Oh,
wouldn't it have
shit
been
out of me.
so much funnier though if
Yeah.
like Dan Aykroyd saw it, and rather than just doing the exact same thing that happens in the first movie,
Hey, I know you.
if the ghost was like, hey, listen, I remember you. I know we haven't seen each other in a while. I was going through a real rough 100 years. Like somebody said that, and
Yeah.
I was like, man, that would have been so much funnier, and that would have been like a smart joke. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like there just weren't a lot of like smart jokes in this movie. I don't know, but like I said, I enjoyed it, but it just
Yeah.
it was a 3, and I was like, this movie, you got Paul Rudd and Carrie Coon. I'm not gonna list the whole cast again. You got an incredible cast, and you really could have done something really good here. And instead, it's like you're giving, because there's 100 characters in this movie. You can only give them each like 5%. You know what I mean? Whereas like if you boiled it down, I think you could really like concentrate on a good movie there. But what can I say? All right. Well, I'm glad we spent some time talking about some of that stuff, because some of that stuff's
Yeah.
really good. Real quick before we move on, you care at all that Euphoria season 3 is delayed apparently?
I could have sworn they literally just said not even last week, like 2 days ago. They're like, "Oh, it's going to production soon," and then today I saw it was like, "Well, actually, it's going to be delayed." I was like, "What happened in the last 2 days?" Uh, what's the deal? Do we know what the deal is? Why it's being delayed?
Yeah, so again, something I don't really like, because this kind of does directly tie into Spider-Man 4 news, which is that apparently
Mhm.
Spider-Man 4 is ramping up for production in September, they said. Which in Hollywood terms is pretty soon. In Spider-Man terms, it's been 5 years since the last one, so let's maybe get a move on here. But I've seen some of these tweets being like, Zendaya is committed to Spider-Man 4, and so that's one of the reasons that it got delayed. And it's like, don't blame this on Zendaya's schedule. Like, it's HBO and Sony's job to work out the schedule. Like, this is not in any way Zendaya's fault. I just saw some tweets that were claiming that, which is so stupid. But the original article said, just plain and simple, what a shock, Sam Levinson hasn't finished the scripts. Like, you know what I mean? I mean, this guy, I feel like for 2.5 years at this point, we've been talking about the same thing over and over and over again, which is that Sam Levinson needs more time to do this. Okay, Sam Levinson, he's still working on Euphoria, but he's taking the time. He's going to do this Idol show, which I know Jeff Snyder loved, but that's one man in a million. And just not worth diverting your time. And just as, what was it? Literally earlier this week, Sydney Sweeney was on Josh Horowitz's Happy, Sad, Confused podcast, and he said to her, so after, coming off of, she was on there for Immaculate, and he's like, anyone but
Right.
you, Madam Web, Immaculate, you just released 3 movies in 3 months, back to back to back. Is this like rest for you now? And she said, this week. She said, "No, I go to Euphoria next." She said, I'm going to Euphoria." And he was like, "Oh, okay." And she was like, "Yeah, but I love it. You know, we're really excited to get going on it, you know." And she calls out Zendaya. So, you know, the whole idea that like Spider-Man 4 is to blame for Euphoria getting delayed, I just think that that is like so far off base, it's kind of crazy.
Mhm.
Um but yeah, I mean, it's just at this rate, you know, do any of us even want it, and do any of the stars need it? I think the answer to both of those is no. You know what I mean? Like, I at this rate, it's been so long, I'm just like kind of disinterested, and all the staff all the staff, all the cast are famous movie stars now. Literally all of them. So
Yeah.
who's the only one that isn't? Maud Apatow. It's coming. She's gonna be in two
And
A24 movies this year.
Demi, I feel like she hasn't really popped off, right?
That's fair, but also I heard that like she's less focused on acting
Oh,
than others, so like I think that's maybe like her choice.
right.
Because I mean, obviously Maddie is like one of the best characters on that show, and she's really really
Yeah.
good. So I think if she wanted to do, you know, the A24 neon route, I think she would totally be able to. Or even just something else at HBO, I think that she would be really good at. But yeah, pretty much everyone but her, like maybe but Maud Apatow, um, are crazy famous now. And then also, honestly, you do have to talk about like with Angus Cloud passing and stuff. Like, is this one of those like Bernie Mac, you know, Ryan Dunn situations where it's like maybe you just got to move on? You know what I mean? I mean, it took
Mhm.
Jackass 12 years to get another movie going because like how much that loss hurt. Um, and then like I said with Bernie Mac, like with the Ocean's movies, like they've all said they're like we're not gonna do another one. Like we're like maybe we'll pop in for a prequel or something like that, but like it just feels wrong to do it without him. And a lot of the Euphoria cast say that too. But I'm sure the idea is to honor him in some way within the material. But it's like it's just been so long at this point. It just feels kind of like we're ready to move on from Euphoria. I don't know.
Mhm.
And then on top of everything I just said, Sam Levinson just sounds like a real toxic kind of douchey guy. Like that's what a lot of people say, and I know that there's people, including Sydney Sweeney, that are like he is not. That he's like been nothing but respectful and stuff. But I don't know. I just think it's like you're wasting everybody's time. That's how I
Mhm.
feel about it. I didn't mean to go on like a Euphoria rant, but
There
it's
you go.
like because I
I,
did like that show a lot, but
yeah, agreed. I'd definitely be interested if they did another one, but like by the time it comes out, assuming it comes out next year, it will have been 3 years. So is the are people really waiting bated breath, do you think,
yeah.
for the next season? I don't know.
Especially because another one, Hunter Schafer, got 5 movies coming out this year.
Yeah.
Like
Jeez.
all these people, like I can get my. It used to be like I gotta find out what happens with Jules and Rue, and
Yeah.
it's
She might
like
be Zelda by the time we get
I
the next
know,
season
I
Euphoria.
know. It's like it used to be like I gotta find out what happens to these people, and now it's
Yeah.
like if I want to see Hunter Schafer in something, I can go watch the latest Hunger Games movie, or I can wait 3 months for 2 more movies of hers to come out. You know what I mean? Like it's just there's so all these people are everywhere. Jacob Elordi, everyone's famous. Um, so it's I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to
Yeah.
some of these trailers. So everybody, we are about to.
Oh, real quick. Hold on. Are we gonna talk about? I don't know if you want to touch on Justin Lin maybe being the Spider-Man 4 director as
Who
well.
was the person that they were saying a couple months ago? It wasn't
I don't
Justin
know.
Lin.
I don't
It
know.
was somebody. See if you can look that up. Justin Lin to me is like I really like Star Trek Beyond, which is his Star Trek
Hmm.
movie. But it's like, is that the right like sensibility? Was it Drew Goddard? I think that's who it was
Uh,
from Daredevil.
I don't know.
It's yeah. I
Looking.
mean, I'm sure that's like an impossible thing to Google. Like who was the previous rumor? You know what I mean? But I think they
Yeah.
said it was like Drew Goddard. who obviously started Daredevil and has done a bunch of different things.
Yes, it was True Grit.
Okay, yeah, like I think that that's a much better fit. Just because Justin Lin to me feels more actiony, and obviously Spider-Man is an action franchise. Um, but particularly this Spider-Man is like a lot more than just an action franchise, particularly where we left him off. I mean, this is a movie that's going to have a lot of emotional weight to it, particularly if Zendaya's coming back. I'm sure I'm safe spoiling the fifth biggest movie of all time. You know, is she going to remember him? Is that what the movie is about? Is it that by the end she will remember him? I personally would I have liked a total rip the band-aid fresh start with like we're now going to go into Gwen Stacy and MJ is truly left behind. Yeah, I would have liked that, but I'm also Tom and Zendaya just have such good chemistry, and honestly, forget Tom. Zendaya is just an incredible actress that like I want to see her as MJ continue. Um, so I'm not. Maybe you are. I don't know. You can tell me right now, but like I'm not mad at the fact that like MJ might be coming back already. You know, it's not. I don't think at the start of the movie she's gonna be like, "Remember that time when I forgot who you were?" You know what I mean? Like
I figured she was always coming back.
yeah, like it's gonna be part of the storytelling.
Yeah.
That being said, I feel like an emotional story like that. I don't know if Justin Lin is the right vibe for me. Just because he's like more of like a Fast and Furious. You know, I like Star Trek Beyond.
Directed the best one.
Yeah, that's true. Well, it's also the one that broke him.
Oh, Fast Five.
Oh, Fast. Okay, all right. Well, but is Fast Five like an emotional wallop?
No.
That's what I mean. Like, you know,
You're now dragging a safe down a Brazilian throughway. Emotional wallop.
Yeah. And like I like Star Trek Beyond, but it is easily the least emotional Star Trek movie. It's the most action heavy. You know, Captain Kirk is jumping motorbikes on an alien village. And like that shit's like cool. Like that's like cool as hell. But the emotion is just such an afterthought, whereas I feel like these Tom Holland Spider-Man movies are so orchestral and like over the top and stuff like that, particularly No Way Home. And I don't expect this movie to be as big as No Way Home, like in its scope and everything like that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I don't particularly like that pick. I really liked the Drew Goddard approach, and I know that both are just rumor at this point, so you know who knows if it's gonna happen. But I mean, what are your thoughts on Justin Lin?
Yeah. Well, as soon as I saw his name, I was like, okay, which Fast and Furious did he direct? And so he did 5. He did Tokyo Drift, which, okay, fair enough. Maybe probably it's definitely very, very far down the list for me. But he also did Fast Furious 4, 6. He did, like you said, Star Trek Beyond, and then he did F9 and Fast X.
Yeah.
So mixed bag. Mostly, I'd say pretty good Fast Furious movies. Like what I said being Fast 5 being the best in my opinion.
I mean that movie also came out like 14 years ago, though, right?
Yeah, it came out in 2011.
Oh, okay. Right.
So
well, almost then. Yeah, actually, almost.
Yeah. So fair enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think we've seen him really do much emotion.
Yeah.
So
and that's like what I keep coming back to.
Yeah, so we shall see. I'll tell you what though, that's a hell of an upgrade. Kind of leaving Fast X and then possibly directing. Spider-Man 4 and
for
the
Justin
MCU,
Lin's career. I mean, that's not even a question. And ironically, who came in to take Fast X over from him, but Louis Leterrier, who did the Incredible Hulk. So it's like they just swapped franchises. Positive. Justin Lin is a great action director. If he can if he gets a great script and can really shoot and nail the emotion that this kind of story would likely require, I am A-okay with getting proven wrong. You know what I mean? If Marvel comes out tomorrow and they say, hey, officially Justin Lin is directing Spider-Man 4, we're starting in September, the cast right now is Tom Holland and Zendaya. I will be perfectly happy with that, and I'll be like, all right, At that point, that's what's happening. Show me what you can do. Will I have that little thing in the back of my mind that's like, is this movie gonna like have that punch to it that I feel like it should, or is it just gonna kind of be like an action movie? Particularly if you're talking about like bringing Daredevil in and stuff. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But it's not my first choice, it's not my second choice, fifth choice, probably 10th choice even. But you can't deny he's got a brilliant track record when it comes to action movies and big blockbuster movie making. So I mean, if at this rate, if that's who they think has a really good eye and vision for what they want to do, then go for it, I guess. But
yeah, I was a little nervous that they had broken up there for a little bit because I had not seen anything like any pictures of them. Where I feel like people are always, Zendaya and Tom Holland, and then I saw they showed up.
Just did a tennis match.
No, I know.
Oh, yeah,
Before
yeah.
that, though,
Oh,
I hadn't
yeah,
seen
yeah,
anything.
yeah.
And I was like, I wonder if they're still together.
Yeah,
but
I think she's just been so busy.
Yeah,
she's been so busy, and he's been doing nothing. He's just been taking time off. Yeah, which like I think he needs a mental reset after the crowded room, which is fair. But yeah, she's just been so busy. I mean, it's like, gee, like damn. Yeah, Challengers. I can't wait for that movie. Next month, 1 month away. Very excited. You know what else I'm excited for?
What's that?
That would be a little Max original, brought to you by DC Elseworlds Studios, and that's a little show called The Penguin. TJ, we got the trailer for The Penguin, the official trailer for The Penguin this week. Have you gotten a chance to look at this trailer? What are your thoughts on this trailer? All right. Well, you know what we're doing? We're going through, and we are going to, pardon my French, if there's any World War II veterans watching, I apologize. We are going to blitzkrieg these trailers right now. And let's start with The Penguin.
All right.
Can you hear it?
Yeah.
All right.
Is that right?
Hey!
When I was a kid,
I love that voice.
there was a gangster. Real old school type. Rex Calabrese. He was a big deal.
Man.
I believe that's Colin Farrell.
I know!
On the street,
Crazy.
go after you.
You turn up its head.
Around 14 or something. He has a heart attack and dies. Still holding a cigar.
Better?
In my neighborhood.
Yep.
Man.
Parade in his honor. A freaking parade.
Such interesting shots in this trailer,
It
too.
wasn't fancy, but it was a gesture. A show of love for what he meant.
Oh, Clancy. Jeez.
Can you imagine to be remembered like that?
You know, I know
this
it's-
fall.
I know it's not, but that shot of him sitting down talking to whoever
Yeah.
makes me immediately think of Tony in Therapy in The Sopranos.
Well,
I
that's
don't think
what
that's
someone in chat just said the same thing.
yeah. I'm assuming that's not what they're doing because I feel like that'd be just like I mean, granted, it's obviously one of the best TV shows of all time, but just kind of take that from a previous HBO show. But yeah, that looked good. I'm excited. Definitely gotta dive back into that world in general. I haven't watched the Batman since it came out.
Have you only seen it once?
I've only seen it the one time, yeah. And but I'm really excited for what Colin Farrell's obviously doing with this character.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. When does it come out again?
It just says this fall. So, I mean,
okay.
if it's Batman indicative of the tone of this franchise so far, I would guess Halloween, or I would guess October. That's probably my guess.
And that was Kristen Milotti, right?
Yeah. Yep. Who?
Yeah, I haven't seen her in anything since
Palm Springs.
Palm Springs.
Yeah, and
so.
we both when we talked about Palm Springs, I mean, she was great in that movie. I love her, and stuff. She's so good. I'm excited to see some dramatic stuff out of her. And then it wasn't a trailer, but earlier this month they released that season tease for Black Mirror season 7, and
Mm.
they're going back to the USS Callister. They're doing their first ever
Oh yeah,
sequel,
yeah.
that which they've never done before as a sequel to one of their episodes. So one would there's no information about it at all, but one would assume she's going to be back and Jesse Plemons. I don't really know how you would do
Mm.
that. Well, given how that episode ends, maybe not Jesse Plemons, but I'd be surprised if they didn't bring him back somehow. But where it leaves off, I mean, Kristen Milioti should definitely be in that. So really excited to see her in this. Looks really, really good. You got Clancy Brown in there, and again, just the fact of how easily you lose Colin Farrell in all that's going on, is just a testament to the makeup and a testament to his performance. Really, really good.
Mm.
And I like the vibe of the trailer, that it's just,
Yeah.
him telling that story. I think that's really, really good stuff. All right, let's give it a out of 5. What's your anticipation? Let's go out of 10. Screw it. Out of 10. What's your
That's
anticipation?
none. I'm gonna go 8.
Yeah, I think I might go a 9. I think I was probably at like a 6 or a 7 of just like, this is probably going to be really good. I really like the structure and the tone of that trailer, so I think I'll go 8, 9 probably even. Really excited. Next one up here. Did you take a look at, or did you see anything about this Marvel 1943: The Rise of Hydra game trailer from Amy Hennig, who obviously did the Uncharted games? This trailer kind of popped off really early in the week, with people losing their minds at the use of Unreal Engine 5, or is it 6?
I think it's 5.
Yeah. Did you see this trailer?
I didn't see the whole trailer. I saw like screenshots or quick clips, but I did
Yeah.
not see the whole trailer.
Yeah. I mean, let's go through. We just bounce around here. Some of the coolest stuff. I mean, obviously, for those who don't know, this is the Captain America Black Panther game that they kind of semi-announced, teased a couple years ago at this point, probably like 2021 or 2022. But this is the first official gameplay kind of story trailer. And you see right there, I mean, the faces just look
And that
real.
looks crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it looks crazy. There's a scene, and also just all this Black Panther action just looks fantastic. And for those who don't know, I forget his name, but he's playing T'Challa's grandfather, so King T'Chaka's father is who he's playing. And I like that it's Carrie Payton, who obviously, for me, started in my life as the voice of Cyborg, and then now, obviously you've seen him voice a million things, played Ezekiel on The Walking Dead. I'm excited that he's getting to play Black Panther, because when I started watching this trailer for the first time, I didn't know who was playing Black Panther, and then when I saw his face, I went, oh, that's Carrie Payton. I was like, holy shit. And I like that he seems he's playing his age. He's not playing like a 30-year-old. This Black Panther looks like he's like 50. You know what I mean? And I like that. I like that it's like an older, because regular super soldiers don't age, but Black Panther with the heart-shaped herb, they still age normally. So I like that idea of an older super soldier, who definitely clearly seems to be older than Cap. Although that being said, this does seem to be an older Cap than Chris Evans. But let's go to this shot here at the end that people are really losing their mind about on this bridge, when the mask comes off of Black Panther. Oh, where is it? Hang on. Where is it, the two of them talking?
Wasn't
Yeah.
didn't people originally think that there was going to be 2 separate games?
Yeah, they thought maybe it was going to be split into 2 different ones.
Right. Okay. That's why
I can't find the.
But yeah, look at
maybe
even
it's
that
right
though.
here.
Like
this right here. His
the facial
face,
animations are crazy.
It's just
And obviously
so
this is
real.
pre-rendered trailer, but
Yeah.
like just these visuals alone. And I don't know if you ever checked out the to go alongside the Matrix Resurrection when that came out. they released like a Matrix Unreal Engine 5 kind of demo
Oh,
type thing.
I never checked it out, but I remember
Did you ever check
hearing that. Yeah.
it? And I did play it for like 10 minutes because it was just kind of walking around the city or whatever I think.
Mhm.
But like even that 2021 that looked amazing. And again, it wasn't that long ago, but to see kind of that engine make its way to being used in an actual game, and I don't know.
Yeah.
And I shouldn't say that because I don't know what games it's probably been used in at this point. But to see that,
No
I mean,
Man's Sky.
it looks it's crazy. Not No Man's Sky, but it looks crazy. And I'm definitely going to be playing it. That comes out this year too, right? Or is that next year?
2025.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when they put 2025, I would safely assume that means December 31st, 2025. the absolute last minute possible.
Yeah.
Oh, that was another story this week that apparently, not that it's in any sort of trouble or anything, but just the GTA GTA 6 in these kind of waning days of production is running a little bit behind. So they were saying it could potentially move off the early 2025 release date into a late 2025 release date for GTA 6. Which, that's a game, if we've waited 13 years for it already, what's another 6 months to wait for GTA 6, honestly? I mean, I don't know. And to be fair, I didn't see many people getting upset about that online because I think it's like, you've waited 15 years for this game. You can wait a couple more months. Like, I don't think it's not like a Jedi Survivor where we're like, what the hell's going on here? Man, sorry. I was just thinking of game delays. Do you remember the fucking 3 years of Lego Skywalker Saga? Like, the 3 years of delays of that game? Man. And granted, COVID. Like, totally granted. But
Remember
still.
Star Wars Eclipse? Is that what it's called? Eclipse?
Yeah, I actually just rewatched that trailer not too long ago, and man, and by not too long ago, I mean I watched it the day that the Acolyte trailer came out.
Yeah,
man, that shit looks good. Like after all these other movies, like when they go, we're getting Ryan Johnson to direct a High Republic trailer, and it looks like that game. That's when Star Wars is back. That like if one of the movies can look like that game. That fake game, that cinematic is what I should say. Hot dog, that's gonna be real good looking stuff. A lot of good alien stuff in that. Speaking of, TJ, did you check out the trailer for Alien Romulus, the brand new entry in the Alien franchise, directed by Fede Alvarez? I also checked it out, but I watched it on my phone, and it is 56 seconds. So let's just go for it. I am very excited about this. I'm a huge Alien fan. I'm looking at my 5-movie box set right now.
You've seen all of them?
Oh yeah, I'm looking at my 5-movie box set right next to me here, which does not include Prometheus or Covenant. But I did not play Isolation though.
Okay,
that's like kind of the one gap that I have.
Yeah.
That shot is like, wow.
Yeah. That's I can't.
Yeah.
I can't do the facehuggers. Oh, thank you.
Man.
What?
And I know that there's like other people in this, but man, you sold me alone on an Alien movie.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Fede Alvarez. Yeah. And then
now that's just like that's Sigourney and Aliens 2 or Aliens?
Yeah, that's definitely Aliens, yeah. Homage. That's right when she's looking out for the queen. Right. But like I said during that trailer, you sold me on new Alien movie, then you sold me on Fede Alvarez directing it, and then you said who are the two main characters? Isabella Merced and Kaylee Spaney. I'm there. Only thing you could have sold it more is if you were like Sydney Sweeney and Isabella Merced, and you're like, guess what? In addition to everything else she did, Sydney Sweeney is going to be a badass action star now, which I think she's probably going to be eventually. Like how long until she's the next Black Widow? What were your thoughts on this very quick 1-minute trailer?
I'm interested. I might be one I check out at home. Unfortunately, I can't. I don't think I did see Covenant in theaters. And it was a long time ago. When did that come out?
17?
2017, yeah, something like
Probably.
that. I don't really remember what I thought of it, honestly.
Mm.
But I have seen all of them. I've seen all of them at least once. It's been a while since I've seen like Aliens, etc. Um, so yeah, I'm interested to dive back into this world. We'll see. Uh, Apparently, there's this one scene that's like totally gross, and everybody like threw up
So
while they're
it
watching
was
it on set,
unfilmable, man.
or something weird. Yeah, something weird. So I'm definitely interested, and that trailer does have me excited. It's this summer, right? I really need to pay attention to the
August.
release date.
August 12th.
August.
Yep.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean the biggest thing for me, and I've been accused in my social circles for defending corporations, but man,
guy.
I love that story. You know it. I love that story that Fede Alvarez was telling, where he was like, it was literally the week before principal photography, and Disney called us in, and we were like, we're getting scrapped, like they're canceling it, and then
Yeah.
they were like, we're actually gonna put this in theaters and not on Hulu. Like that is just
Oh,
like,
I didn't know it was supposed to be on Hulu
yeah,
originally.
up until a week before
Oh,
filming, they thought it was
wow.
going to be a Hulu movie. And then Fede Alvarez said they called him and the production team in, and they were like, well, at least we got to do some nice pre-production on this and stuff, like,
Yeah,
whatever. Like they thought it was
yeah.
like scrapped, or like, hey, you're getting half the budget or something. And they were like, we are actually like so impressed with how this is coming along. We're going to give you guys a theatrical release. And it's like, that's the kind of shit that is like should be happening more and more. You know what I mean? It's like, this has the potential to make a lot of money. I mean, I think if it's a Hulu movie, I'm just gonna throw a total guess out there. I'm guessing the budget on this thing is 100 million, 80 million. I don't think this is not going to be a $300 million movie, which honestly, like Prometheus and Alien Covenant were.
Mhm.
That's those were way too big of budgets, and did not make enough to warrant that. But now I think if you're doing kind of the Prey approach to Aliens, sign me up. I think that's going to be fantastic. If I had my car keys right now, I mean, I am when I say I'm an Alien fan, on my car keys every single day I have a mini Xenomorph Funko Pop that I carry around every single day, and I have a Xenomorph pin and everything like that. I love these movies like so much, and the lore and everything like that. And I like that this is set right in between Alien and Aliens. There's 80 years between those movies, and this is set 40 years right between both of them. So I really like that. And the synopsis says that they are colonizers checking out a wreckage. What I personally think, I think the wreckage might be the Nostromo from the first movie. Like that it might be the ship from the first movie that they find in space.
Yeah.
That's just my total guess, based on the little synopsis that they gave, that they find a wreckage in space. And that would just be so cool, and it would be a way to tie it back to the original without actually needing to bring up legacy characters or deal with any of that stuff. I think that would be really, really fun. Yeah, really like that trailer. What are you giving it on anticipation? And then actually, what do you give the Captain America Black Panther game on anticipation?
Yeah, Captain America, I'd say 7.
Yeah.
And Alien, I'd say 8.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, it's tough with you because it's like the fear aspect plays a part. But it's
I will happily watch
yeah.
it at home when it comes to
This is a guy, ladies and
streaming.
gentlemen, this is a guy who cowered in fear when we got the Rise of Skywalker standee. He saw Palpatine's eyes, and he ran for the hills. He heard that laugh.
That Frozen Empire dude, he was scary.
No,
Even more
he
scary.
was, yeah.
Even more scary was the
oh, I know what you're gonna say.
Ghosts behind the glass.
Yes, I know what you're gonna say. Because the whole movie, and when I saw the horns in the closet, the whole movie, I thought that that ghost, that big ghost, I thought that was the villain. I thought that somehow the villain was gonna take over that ghost, and then that ghost, and I thought that like slowly throughout the movie he was gonna build himself back, but he just built himself back, and then he's dead in 5 minutes.
I also thought he looked like that one that was like kind of stuck there that we think's gonna get out and then he doesn't. He also reminded me of this monster from Resident Evil 4, the game that was absolutely terrifying when I played that game. So that just even made it worse for me. But yeah.
1 second, sorry. Yeah, no, 100%. I liked that. I liked it, that scary big ghost, and it was that kind of like weird thing where like he looked so big. It was like you think that the cell is like the size of a room, but it looked like it was like he was like 100 feet tall or something. That was a creepy part of the movie, but again, it doesn't go anywhere, just like most of that movie. A movie that we both really liked is Bad Boys for Life. And post incident, Will Smith is back with Martin Lawrence, and his big on screen return here with a brand new trailer for Bad Boys Ride or Die. Before we take a look at this, which I know both of us have not seen because this is the one that just came out just a couple hours ago. Where are you at with hype on this, with the whole Will Smith thing? Are you excited to see him kind of back in the saddle, after everything that's gone down? Where are you at with it?
I don't really care, honestly, about that whole thing. It was 2-3 years ago, right?
Yeah.
At this point.
Yeah.
He slapped him.
What do you say?
Got his Oscar. It
Uh-oh,
was an embarrassing
Richard.
moment. Yeah. Was it an embarrassing moment? Yes, but
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? He didn't. I don't know. I don't know.
am I-
There's worse things.
What do I say?
There's worse
Let the
things.
kid live. Let him work.
It's fine. Glad to see him back.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I remember.
Granted, he's done stuff since then, but not.
Yeah,
I would say that.
and I remember. Yeah, he's like got all of his social medias and stuff. He's been like.
Yeah.
It's not like he went away. You know what I mean? It's just this is his first big movie. Since that happened. But he did have. That's not even true. He had Emancipation the immediate following year. But that was like already filmed and stuff. So this is his first like. After it happened, the whole production. Because I remember that story came out that they were like, "Oh, Bad Boys 4 might not happen now," and everybody was like, "Shut the fuck!" Like everybody was like, "Shut the fuck up!" Like go film the movie. Like nobody wants to end Will Smith's career over this. You know what I mean? Like he handled it right. He apologized immediately, and I think that's just kind of what you have to do. But that being said, I'm excited to dive into this. So let's just go. 3, 2, 1, Bad Boys.
Is coming out
Right now.
right now.
Yeah, right now.
Is this filmed on an iPhone?
Right now.
Check it out.
It's hot.
Well,
Come on, Mike, slow down.
it's like a 3-minute trailer, isn't it?
Stomach, Mike. I need a ginger ale.
I need a ginger ale.
Get a ginger ale and nothing else.
Oh
Those
man.
dogs fresh. Put 'em in.
Give me one. Put the relic on that motherfucker.
Oh my god.
Stay right there.
Is that Skittles on the counter, Marcus?
This ain't mine, Mike.
Yes, it is. Get in the car.
He has a gun to my head.
Want to deal with him? You want to deal with me?
Sorry, sir, but I gotta
Oh, what is that?
go. Call 911.
Aren't you the police?
Aren't you the police? That was funny.
Reggie, you eat my snacks?
No, sir.
You ate my snacks.
It's the fucking guy for the first movie.
Well, then you need to deploy.
Dad, look.
We now have evidence that the late Captain Conrad Howard of Miami
Oh,
was
R.I.P.
working directly with drug
Ugh.
cartels for years.
What? You're gonna defile Joey Pants' memory like that? Is that Vanessa Hudgens?
He's texting us from the other side. No, he's
Yeah, wasn't she in?
seeing
What?
some probably text.
Joey Pants!
Fuckers, fuck them all. I don't know how high up this shit goes, but don't trust anybody.
Oh, Cal Jacobs.
Oh.
Bad boys. Now
Yeah.
say my name.
Man.
You should be careful.
Oh, is that his son?
You're being set up.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was the end credit
post-credit,
scene.
right?
I'm glad that they're like continuing with this.
We got 2 suspects, Lowry and Burnett.
Oh, they're wanted?
They're armed and dangerous.
Is that Kim Wexler? Is that true? Is
Oh.
windshield wiper fluid flammable? Man. There it is. Boom. What the fuck?
I need nasty Mike. Bad boy.
I need Nasty Mike.
What you don't do?
Man. Whoa! Okay, that was cool.
Are y'all still in our clothes?
Just because we black, we still in your shit? What?
Look at your shirt.
Why don't you sing us a little Reba song?
Reba.
Sing your favorite.
I'm a woman.
I'm a strong black woman.
Strong. Yeah,
I'm a-
because she's not black.
Yes.
What you gonna do? What you gonna...
That ain't no Reba song.
It's from her mixtape.
Oh, June 7th. Man. Like I said, man, these trailers are getting closer and closer to the release date. That's in like a month. What'd you think? I thought that shit
Yeah,
looked pretty
definitely.
good.
Yeah, really good, really funny. Gonna have to go revisit for life before
All three.
This
That's
one.
the real answer.
Maybe not all three. That's a lot. Okay, so at the post credits scene at the end, I forget which. Maybe I might be mixing this up with like Hobbs and Shaw at the end. Doesn't like doesn't like somebody like come up to his, is it his son or something? Maybe I'm thinking of Hobbs and Shaw.
For what?
Do you remember what happens at the end of Hobbs and Shaw? Isn't somebody in prison and somebody like
No,
walks
that's
up
the
and-
no,
oh,
that's
I'm
the
gonna-
end of this. That's this.
But isn't it like The Rock or something? Why am I remembering
No.
Dwayne Johnson?
I don't think
that
so.
moment?
No.
I don't know why.
Yeah, no,
Okay,
this because the shootout, it's like it ends in like Cuba, the third one, and it's like his son, and then you find out that like the woman that like who the mom is that Lowry was with was like the villain.
Oh, okay.
So and then the son like he like hands himself over to the authorities, and then the post credit, that's what it is. Then the post credit is Will Smith walks up to his cell and he says, "We got a job to do that could take some years off
Right.
your sentence." He pulls the
Right.
Suicide Squad. He said, "We're the Patsies."
I could have sworn it was like
Some
a
kind of
character from
Suicide
Fast and
Squad.
Furious or
It was
something. I
not.
don't know
It's
why.
not. I mean, honestly, something like that probably also happened in a Fast and Furious movie. Well, that's
Yeah.
what happened in Fast X.
Oh,
The
maybe
post
that's
credit
what it
scene
was.
was Hobbs, and he takes the
That's what it was.
the
Oh,
mask
yeah,
off,
yeah, yeah.
and he
Okay,
goes, "Let's get to work."
Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
that's
Okay,
what that
that's
one
what I
was.
was saying.
You're just mixing too many military men
Yeah.
post credit
Your
scenes. going on.
your favorite Mr. Fantastic is in this movie. Did you know that?
Ian Gruffin?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I knew exactly who you were talking about. I mean, that wasn't even a question. Yeah, that's great. I love that. And then Joey Pants, I was like, you're gonna just besmirch the memory.
I
of
thought he
Joey
actually
Pants?
died for a second when you said that. I remember him like obviously dying in the last
Yeah.
one, but
That was a
He
fucking
actually
intense
died.
scene.
Like,
Wasn't it like he was
Yeah.
at like his kid's basketball game and they just like shoot him on the bleachers?
yeah, it
That was like
yeah.
crazy. That movie was crazy. But again, I don't know, man. These directors, I mean, I liked that last Bad Boys movie a lot. This looks cool as hell. I like all their episodes of Marvel TV that they've done. You're telling me the Bad Girl was an unreleasable mess? That's what you're trying to tell me? I don't think so,
What
buddy.
they're saying.
I don't think so, buddy. But we'll never know. Got to get over it. Anticipation? Up, down,
7.
7.
I'm at 7.
Yeah, I'll go 7. I'll go 7 just because I've been high with all the other stuff. I'll go 7 with this just because it's not particularly my franchise, but I really have a ball watching these movies. Like they're just like so much like dumb fun. Yeah. All right. Next up here is the trailer for Beetlejuice. Now, did you already see this one? What are your thoughts on Beetlejuice overall? Like, do you have a connection to the first movie?
Beetlejuice. Watched it, I think, last year for the first time.
Okay.
Absolutely had a great time with it. That was
Yeah.
a great movie. So I'm excited for this one. Seen the musical, really like the musical as well.
Oh, you saw the musical?
Yeah.
What, it like
When I came
Shays? Like
here.
here?
Yeah, Chase.
Oh,
I forget
wow.
when I came.
Nice.
But yeah.
Well, I mean, Alec Baldwin's gonna be in this one, right?
Oh.
Ooh. No, but he will be at your local Comic-Con next month. All right, let's take a look here. And now this one, obviously, we got Jenna Ortega joining the family here.
Mhm.
The bridge is back.
You know what people are speculating about this?
Oh, wait,
The
hang
scene?
on, buddy.
What?
I never saw this before. The headstone's right there. Who is it?
It's people are thinking.
I'm
It's,
looking right at him. It's his
Yeah,
picture
you
right
can see who
there.
it is.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Jones, Charles.
I never noticed that. I mean, I figured it was him, and I saw that
Yeah.
everybody was like, it's got to be him. But pulling the trailer up right here, I didn't notice. You can actually just see his face right there.
Yeah, they said get his ass out of here.
Yeah. Man, I love that Catherine O'Hara is an important part of this movie.
Mm.
That it's like three generation of Dietzes. Man, she was so good in Age of Innocence.
Mm. Oh,
I
there he
used to
is.
be Batman.
The juice is loose.
Man. I love this title treatment, how it like rips apart. I like that.
Yeah.
I love that face at the end, man. All right, what are your thoughts as Beetlejuice ominously stays over our heads? What were your thoughts on this trailer?
That was a good little teaser. As I mentioned to you earlier, and before we went live, Jeff Snyder on the hot mic was hoping for something a little bit more from his like one line there at the end of the trailer, and I would agree. I don't know. I think we could have gone with something a little bit better than Juice is Loose.
I also watched that episode of the Hot Mic, and they were talking about like they were like, I think there's a little bit of like an OJ connotation there.
Yeah.
When I first saw the trailer, I was like,
That's immediately what
I was like, that's a funny OJ joke. I was like, I didn't think there was an OJ connotation. I was like, that's pretty funny. I was like, that's a straight up OJ joke. I agree. I think it would have been nice to hear the like showtime. You know what I mean? Like I thought that would be nice. But I'm gonna relate this to kind of a weird thing, and I'm gonna say Force Awakens. At the end, you know, Han didn't jump onto the Falcon and go, Chewie, never tell me the odds. You know, it was Chewie, we're home. Like it's like a new line we've never heard him say before that like shows it's gonna be slightly different and that the humor is gonna advance past 1988. That's what it kind of told me. So I thought it was funny. I thought that just seeing Beetlejuice was enough to like remind me that it was Beetlejuice. That's how I took it though. But I totally get it. And more than even Jeff Snyder, I've seen, and you obviously because you just said you agree. I've seen that a lot online though. That people are like, you know, I didn't think that joke really played or was really that funny, but I kind of liked it. But overall, where are you at with this? Are you like, this is going to be a good legacy sequel? Because they've been trying to make this movie for like 20 years.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm at like a 7, maybe. I'm surprised no Gina Davis.
That's one that like I'm sure, and obviously like we were like, you know, poking fun like with Alec Baldwin and stuff, but I mean, I genuinely think it's entirely possible that both of them will show up in this and just be like,
I don't think Alec Baldwin's showing up in this.
I don't know. I don't think Alec Baldwin is on that level of like discarded. You think?
No, yeah, I just because I just keep seeing like these conflicting things. Again, not to get into it, but like these conflicting things about like, oh well, they brought something else back up, so now he's like, going back to court or so, like all this stuff. I was like, okay, so I don't know what his deal is, obviously. But
I guess
I would. Yeah, if you just see one of them, I would count more on Gina Davis.
Oh, yeah, if you're gonna see one of them, absolutely, yeah. But yeah, no, I think that would be really, really fun to see one of them in there. You said like a 7?
Yeah,
I'd probably say like a 6. I'm really excited. Let me see a little more of Keaton, and obviously I know that even in the first movie, Beetlejuice is not the main character. So I
Right.
don't think he's going to be the main character in this movie. That being said, if he is, though, you know, it's entirely possible that him and Tim could have said, like, hey, doesn't really make sense to even go back to this well if we're not going to, like, focus a little bit more on Beetlejuice than we did in the first one. Because realistically, in that first movie, Keaton's got what, like 25 minutes of screen time, maybe, in like an hour and 40-minute movie. So it's like Beetlejuice is the namesake of the movie, but he's really not like the main character of that first movie. Just like I think this one will definitely be about the 3 generations of like the Dietz women, like with Catherine O'Hara, Winona Ryder, and Jenna Ortega. Which right there, those 3 together, that's like comedy goldmine. That I really just can't wait to see. And then you also have Justin Theroux joining the cast in this one too.
And Willem Dafoe.
And Willem Dafoe, yeah, there's a couple of people. Monica Bellucci is also going to be in this, who's obviously now with Tim Burton, so that makes complete sense. But yeah, I'm pretty excited for this overall. But I think I'd like to see just a little bit more. And that's one trailer that did come out. We've got like a good 6 months until that movie comes out, because that doesn't come out until September. All right, next up here, we're gonna end with another one, and then we got 2 big ones to end off here. 2 big ones, one that I have not seen, and then one that I know that you have not seen. So before that, let's do another one that you have not seen, which is the brand new trailer for Series 14, Series 1, the reboot, whatever you want to call it, of Doctor Who. Where are you at? Where are you at right now? I mean, obviously we covered the specials and stuff, but
Yeah.
where are you falling right now?
I just don't think I don't know. I don't really have a desire to watch. And we're not going to talk about it this week, obviously, because we're running short on time. But
Yeah.
maybe you could talk about it next week as Invincible. And I told you I don't really have any desire to go back to Invincible, honestly.
Man, do you think that that's more just because you've read it?
I think I've read it, and I think they're going to change some things. I think they've said that. I didn't vibe with the first half of the season, and it's been months.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
I mean, I will say very quickly here, I felt the gap really big, and I was like, I don't know if I want to go back. And then I went back, and I was like, this show's pretty good. This show's pretty good. But particularly a lot of really good stuff going on right now with like Rex Splode and Eve. A lot of really, really great stuff that I know people have already, the online is like, no pun intended, online has exploded with like, with what happens with Rex in the very first episode back. People were like, oh, if you've read the comics, get ready. And then the next episode they were like, oh, they changed it. Never mind.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, I guess, yeah. Yeah, so I guess so. But I'm very interested to see what's going on with that, because so far this season, Rex has had a lot of good character development, but going back over, let's see if this trailer changes your mind, or what vibe you get from this.
Whoa.
Oh.
Yeah, I remember this room.
Man.
And?
Where did he come from?
I don't know, he sort of popped up at the right moment. And then he spoke about time travel.
Ruby, you want to know my secret? I have the whole universe at my fingertips.
I believe this is the first ever Doctor Who trailer to have licensed music.
Oh, what was that?
It's a time and space
know.
machine.
Is it safe?
David?
No idea.
What if I change history by stepping on a butterfly?
Well, that's not gonna happen, is it?
Oh, what's wrong?
Oh, jeez.
With all my adventures, never seen anything like this before.
Oh my, Bridgerton.
Oh.
This place is completely mad.
Things seem to be turning more and more supernatural.
Oh.
Is that a monster?
No, don't be silly. There's no such thing as monsters. It's just creatures you haven't met yet.
What the fuck?
Powers beyond the universe, so vast. The whole world could slide into the pit. Is this what we're trying to stop? I'm still her mum. I need to know she'll be okay. You'll keep her safe?
Whoa.
I will keep her safe. I promise.
She's gonna turn into Scarlet Witch.
All this time to realize what I'm here to do. We're gonna save the world.
Everything is possible. Everything is possible. Time may change me, but I can't trace time.
Well, there you go. Disney Plus Doctor Who. What are your thoughts on that?
Interested. I don't know. I'd probably put my interested, exciting scale at like a 5 or 6. I did really enjoy those specials. I don't know. There's just so much to watch, and I think that might be part of the Invincible thing, where it's like I don't know. I'm fine with my weekly episodes of Bad Batch and X-Men right now. Where it's like, I don't really know if I want to
Oh
start.
man, why?
And we even talked
We
about
haven't talked
X-Men.
about both of those. Oh man!
Yeah.
All right, next week. All right, next week we're doing the Scorsese thing, which will, we've already teased that enough. But we're doing a cool Scorsese thing next week, and we'll definitely talk Bad Batch, and we'll definitely talk X-Men for sure, specifically X-Men. But also Bad Batch seems to be a pretty big episode. I don't know. I will say, as a diehard Doctor Who fan, I'm like, it definitely looks like Doctor Who. Like, I'm like, you know what I mean? I'm like, it's really just one of those things. It's like, if you've seen a Doctor Who trailer, you've kind of seen a Doctor Who trailer. You know what I mean? It's like, it's just kind of the same thing. And I like the fact that they had the David Bowie song in there. But to me, I don't know. These things kind of stick out to me like a sore thumb sometimes. And it just kind of puts me off of it. I don't think this was like a stellarly edited trailer. I think it's kind of a little like all over the place. I felt like it could have kind of been edited to the music a little bit better. It felt like the music was just kind of like splashed in there all throughout it. That being said, though, I'm excited for this kind of new era of these bigger sets and this bigger budget that Disney is allowing for. So I'm excited on that front. I will say that. And I really like Ncuti Gatwa and Millie Gibson's chemistry. I'm excited to see Ruby Sunday as a companion. Oh, by the way, on the day that we're doing this, right now is 19 years to the day since it came back with Rose, with Christopher Eccleston. Really, really cool. That art that I sent you earlier was for that, because it's the 19th anniversary of the show coming back. Really, really cool stuff. Anticipation?
5.
I'm going to be honest. I think I'm with you. I think I'm at a 5 or 6. And it's like, I love Doctor Who, but I'm like, there's so much to watch. It's particularly in June. And I know that Doctor Who starts in May, so it's going to be earlier than that. But like, we're going to have The Bear, Doctor Who, Acolyte, House of the Dragon. I'm forgetting a big one too. There's another one in there that I can't even remember right now. That's also gonna, The Boys. That's the other one. All that's gonna be going at the exact same time, and so it's gonna be like TV overload. But hopefully it will be worth it. But yeah, I did not get as jazzed as I wanted to off of a big Doctor Who trailer like that. But I say whatever. This next trailer here. Have you seen this?
I have not. No.
Okay. This is the trailer for this is the official Black trailer. They also put out an official Team Green trailer. I am not going to be watching both. We are not going to watch both here and now. You can feel free to watch the Green trailer in the future. I was going to not watch any trailers for this season at all. And thus far I have not, because this trailer came out, I believe, 3 days ago, I think. But for the sake of this and to watch it with you live here, I will watch it. But obviously I'm going with Team Black, because maybe who likes Team Green? I mean, Otto Hightower, that's like your quarterback. I don't think so, buddy. I don't think so. And also in the what I've been watching, I restarted rewatching House of the Dragon. I'm at episode 3. Man, that show is so good. like from the absolute offset. Like all that stuff with Matt Smith and Patty Constantine in the first episode, so good. Did you say it? What if I did? Like I love that shit, man. But I am so excited now that era of the show is already over and in the rearview mirror. I'm excited to see what Alicent and Rhaenyra have cooking up for us. So let's go.
We fight for our queen!
Starts now. Man, I love that logo.
Oh, yeah.
My father chose me, his firstborn child.
He did.
To succeed him.
It's true.
True.
I was there.
He held to his decision until death. And yet, Alicent's son sits my throne.
Clown.
I mean to fight this war and win it.
Man.
The realm will soon tear itself apart.
Emma Darcy is so good in this role.
To King Viserys.
Oh, the wall.
The High Towers are
Ooh.
crush.
Yes.
I detect.
Corliss.
Terms are very simple. Renounce the false king and bend the knee to the innocent, or your house burns.
When the desire to kill and burn takes hold and reason is forgotten. You will not even remember
Oh
what
man,
war in the first place.
that dragon is too big.
Feel what I've begun.
I mean, Rhaenyra, I wouldn't say that you began it. I wouldn't put that pressure on you. Wow, June 16th. Damn, that is soon. All right, I'll go first here. I'm rewatching the first season right now. Show is so good. So good. Immediately redemptive of those last 2 seasons of Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones.
Yeah, immediately redemptive of that. The cast is so good. I mean, everything. I'm so invested in these characters after just 1 season. And like I said there, I mean, Emma Darcy as Rhaenyra is such great casting and is so strong in that role, as is Olivia Cook as Alicent. And the fact that we have only had 5 episodes with both of those actresses, it feels like we've already lived a lifetime with them because of all the time jumps. But it's like we've only had 5 episodes. So the fact that now we are done with all the time jumps, we are in it. The war has started, obviously, with what happened in the finale with the unfortunate death of Luke. Obviously, he flew a little too close to the sun, but SON, not SUN. And he got a little hungry there. But with that like crazy finale, I'm just so excited to see where this all goes. I mean, obviously, thanks to Joffrey in season 3, they kind of spoiled some of the main ending of this show. If you know what I'm talking about, you remember. But it's all the little things, because we know where certain things end up because Game of Thrones takes place after this. Yeah, sure, maybe we know the fates of certain people, but I don't know what's going to happen with Daemon. I don't know what's going to happen with Alicent. I don't know what's going to happen with all their kids. I don't know what's going to happen to Otto. I don't know when anything's going to go with anything. And I just think that's so like refreshing, and I'm just excited to go back to Westeros and like get back in this world. That even though it's been less than 2 years, it just feels like it's been such a long time since we last saw it. But I'm so excited for this. But what about you?
Yeah, I'm definitely excited like you. I'm definitely gonna have to go back and rewatch at least like the last episode or 2 just to jog my my poor memory.
They have really good recaps on Max.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I'll definitely do that. Oh my god, my anticipation level is probably at I'd say probably like an 8 for the show.
Yeah.
Just considering Game of Thrones, obviously that was the biggest phenomenon in the world for when it was on, and then House Dragons was also really good. Season 1.
Yeah. I mean, I would say a 9. I might be cracking a 10. I don't know. I might be cracking a 10, or at least brewing one. I'm trying to pace myself with the season 1 rewatch because I've already watched 3 episodes, and it's not until June 16th. So it's like there's still, oh geez, that's even longer than I thought. That's 2.5 months, right?
Yeah.
Oh damn. All right, yeah, I gotta slow down. Maybe I'll watch it again. I don't know. It's literally just that I could watch Patty Constantine as King Viserys for literally. I could have watched a whole show that was just about him. But man, really excited to dive back in. Somebody we haven't called out by name yet, Matt Smith, just looks so good in this. Also, we didn't watch the Green trailer, but as big of a asshole as he is, Rhys Ifans as Otto Hightower is just one of the best Game of Thrones characters that we've ever had. So I'm very excited to see what Otto has in store, what plans he's planning, everything like that. Really, really excited. And I'm excited to get the themes and like the richness and like the mythology and stuff that you can only get in a Game of Thrones show. I'm excited to dive back into that stuff and the bloodlines and all the dragon stuff, all that stuff that makes Game of Thrones so cool. I'm really excited to get back into. I am one that is like, however many Game of Thrones spinoffs or whatever you want to give me, keep them coming. If you can keep the quality up, keep them coming. Really excited. All right, last up here, because we are closing out the show here, is the Star Wars: The Acolyte. So you have not seen this trailer at all?
Nope.
You don't know anything.
Nope. Well, I know there's a character in the trailer. That's all I know. That there's like how is she in the trailer? Or how is she in the show? Right?
I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, you might be right. You might just, when you see it, be like, there it is. I have seen this trailer. Big excite. Let's check it out. 3, 2, 1.
Close your eyes. Your eyes can deceive you. We must not trust them.
Man.
Tell me what comes into your mind.
This stuff looks so lived in.
Oh,
I love that shot with the soup droid.
Balance. I see fire.
Oh yeah, come on. Oh.
Like, that shit's sick, man.
That's cool.
Someone is killing Jedi. It doesn't make sense.
What happened?
I sensed darkness.
Man.
This isn't about good or bad. This is about power and who is allowed to use it.
What is that?
Whoa.
Whoa!
Thing I'm thinking of, by the way, I think is in a different show or something.
Oh, okay.
Because this would have been thousands of years before that character. Right, because this is like High Republic or pre-High Republic, I think.
It's the end of the High Republic.
Okay, yeah.
So this is it's about 100 years before Phantom Menace.
Yeah, so this would have been. I'm excited. Unfortunately, I don't think it's what I was looking forward to, which is following the Sith. Like, I think it's like about a bunch of light Jedi where they're sensing like this darkness coming for them. And I don't think it's going to focus. It doesn't seem like it's going to focus more on the dark side as much as I feel like I thought it was going to. So I'm still interested, but I guess I'm a little bummed out.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's totally valid. I will say, and I don't think this is, a victimless crime or whatever, but or whatever. That's not what I meant to say. I think it's important to remember that never came from Lucasfilm or Leslie Headland.
Oh,
that like that was never what was promised. It was just like this is a dark tone, and we're gonna follow, you know, a darkness that is coming, whatever. And I think people were just like, I mean, it's gonna be following a Sith, like. And it's like no one ever said that, but I get what you mean, because it's just like the general hype machine around this. You know, I think they could have said a long time ago, like, you know, this is someone is hunting Jedi. Also, that could just be the angle for this trailer. You know, we know that Amanda Steinberg is the main character, and she's really not in much of this trailer. And she doesn't have any lines in this trailer. And I think that is very intentional. So I think that it still very well could be following much darker stuff and be a much darker show than I mean, this show already does feel dark, but it's just, I think it could possibly be even darker than we're thinking. I mean, like, look at Andor. Like, that was, the trailers for that were like dour, but like that show opens in like the Blade Runner techno rain, and he like blows someone's head off. That's the opening scene of that show. And the trailer was like, what's Andrew gonna get into this time? You know what I mean? It's like, so I think there's entirely possible that the marketing is gonna be a little lighter than maybe the actual tone of the show once we actually get to see it. That being said, it could totally not be, and I am totally okay with the tone of the show. I will say, the very first time I watched it, I did kind of go like, okay. Like, all right, cool. Like, you know what I mean? I wasn't like, whoa. That being said, also, what is it? It's a minute of actual footage. It's a minute and 30 seconds. So, like, you know, that's also to be taken into consideration. We do have, you know, 2.5 months, just like House of the Dragon. We have like 2.5 months until this comes out. So I think we're going to see some more stuff, probably a fuller trailer, I would have to imagine. But yeah, I mean, diving into this thing, there's a ton to dissect. I highly recommend that you go and rewatch it. You know, there's just so much in there, and discussion videos and stuff that I've already seen, but like, there's different haircuts on multiple characters throughout it. So it's like, it seems like we're going to be maybe time jumping, you know, going through a couple of different time periods. And then Leslie Headland saying the whole thing about it's like a Jedi murder mystery. That's pretty enticing. That's pretty enticing and pretty exciting to see how that actually comes together and what ends up happening with that. But I'd say for me, I'm probably at like a 7.5 probably for the Acolyte right now.
Yeah, I'd say I'm probably an 8. Still.
Yeah, I mean, also the High Republicness of it also is like just the sheer curiosity factor of this is an area and a time frame that we've never seen in Star Wars ever. And of course, you know, the people, I'm not as anti-volume as a lot of other people out there are, that are ready to like get the pitchforks out, but just the fact that Leslie Headland said that, you know, they did not use the volume for any of this, you know, you can kind of tell in the footage. There's some people out there that I've seen that are still like, I know they said they didn't use the volume, but it looks pretty volumey to me, and I'm like, now you're saying it's like an inside job that they're lying about when they're not using the volume. Like, that's a little much for me. But man, I'm just super excited for this. I'm stoked on the look of it, the feel of it, and I'm excited that we really don't know how dark it's going to be or who the main focus is going to be and stuff. I think that's exactly what a kind of tonal teaser trailer like this should do. That being said, I think for me, my biggest standout is probably Lee Jong-jae from Squid Game as Jedi Master Soul. He's like the kind of the main character of this trailer. But again, they said that Amanda Steinberg is like the main character of the show. But yeah, I'm really, really excited for it. I'm excited for a lot of these trailers that we took a look at today. I'm really glad that we took the time to go through them and everything like that. But that will do it for this week's episode of PFN Live. So thank you guys so much for everybody who joined us. We got, you know, good amount of people in here today, and we got Johnny Dome. Thanks for joining us for most of the show here. Anybody who's still watching right now or watching on the replay, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video. We took a look at a lot of different trailers coming up, so very exciting stuff. That'll do it for me. I have been one of your hosts, Sean Monk.
I've been another host, TJ Cornwell. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you thought about any of the trailers below, and we will see you next time.
Boom.